Hello, and welcome back to the Argyle Finance Solutions Expo. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partner is committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booth from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat, and we will address your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further delay, I would love to introduce our speaker, David Palmer, Chief Products Officer, Pearpoint at Vodafone. We're excited to have David with us for a keynote titled The Journey to the AI Economy, Harnessing the Potential of Web3 and AI. Welcome, David, and over to you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here today, discussing what I think is an absolute critical topic, which is AI. I think anyone who has been going to work, shopping, surfing the internet, interacting with others would have heard of applications like ChatGPT, Claude, Llama. And these are what we call generative AI tools that allow us to interact with an immense amount of content and to actually come back with responses based on prompts that we have. This economy is forecast to be worth a significant amount of the global GDP going forwards. And today I want to discuss how this links to things like Web3, so blockchain, tokens, crypto, and how AI could actually help us in our jobs, in industry, and businesses. So I'm just going to go through. I like to sort of go through a macro view of what's happening, right? So the population's increasing, 8.1 billion people today. We're expecting it to go to 8.5 billion people. Coming from the mobile phone industry, one of the success stories since the 90s has been the growth of mobile phones. So 8 billion expected out of the population of 8.5 billion. So anyone who can hold a phone has one. Over 90% penetration of mobile phones across the globe has been one of the success stories. Internet of Things devices, so wearables, connected cars, connected drones, connected sensors, increasingly collecting and driving the data for automated business models. More importantly, providing data into large language models which feed AI. We're expecting 30 billion plus of those devices by 2030. Internet users, we expect, like mobile phones, over 80% penetrations on the internet as we do more of our shopping, working, socializing, content digestion, and purchasing and creation on the internet. 7.5 billion people will be using it. And in terms of digital wallets, how we access and pay for things online, and physically with our Apple and Google wallets, for example, we're expecting 5.6 billion digital wallets to be in operation by 2030. So over 56 or over 65% penetration. AI users, 3.5 billion. It could be more. So if AI becomes part of the mobile phone, or increasing part of the mobile phone and wallets, and we add intelligence to it, you can expect that figure to be a lot higher. And in terms of Web3, so people who are using blockchain solutions, blockchain-based digital identity tokens, we're expecting 1 billion by 2030. One of the questions is, could the convergence of AI with mobile phones and IoT be a key driver to mass adoption of AI in business? Business data will be significant. And what is the significance of digital wallets as a gateway to AI-driven finance? So just some of the questions that creep out. So what is the size of the opportunities, right? So how big will AI be in terms of the global economy? And how does that compare to fintech and Web3? So on this, you can see that the AI opportunity could be as high as 10 to 15 trillion, right? Depending on overlap and interaction with other solutions, and to a large extent, depending on the success of AI to penetrate business. Fintech by 2030 is expected to be 1.1 trillion, so just over 1% or roughly 1% of global GDP, and Web3 2 trillion, right? Now, one of the things that needs to be noted is that hyperscaler spending on AI was 5 billion, and it was lower than it was much higher than the revenues of 200 to 300 billion that we're expecting this year. So, in terms of investment in AI, the investment in AI is much higher than revenues at the moment, and of course that puts pressure on use cases and the ability of AI to be used in business beyond public data, right? ChatGPT, Claude, Llama, all of these applications are using APIs or connections to public AI models. For the industry investment to be realized, we have to unlock the business data problem, right? So we need AI in business, and that means that we need to get business data into AI models, and that is going to be pretty critical to realizing the growth going forward. So AI market, trillions. If we look at the Web3 market, trillions. Autonomous systems, trillions. What we can say is that what's important here is if you look at the fintech market by 2030, we're expecting a 1.5 trillion fintech market size by 2030, right? But in terms of how that fintech market will be delivered, 4.5 billion we would expect to be delivered through AI agents, whereas 500 billion will be delivered through mobile phones. So what this drives is that as we move to what we call agentic commerce and agentic business and agentic retail, it basically means that into how we'd interact with services through agents that would purchase on our behalf, right? And the merchants would recognize our agents and allow them to pay on our behalf automatically. We're not expecting that to be more than a 4.5 billion business by 2030. Whereas the mobile phones will continue to be by far the largest means of us interacting with content and purchasing things. However, there will be some overlap where AI agents or agentic commerce, where AI agentic agents are part of mobile applications, will begin the transition. So I expect some of the 500 billion will have AI in it. Some other headlines, right? So when we think of AI agents, we think digital, right? But actually, when you look at some of the things growing, autonomous systems, so autonomous drones, robots that are mowing the garden, these are all what we call autonomous systems, which have artificial intelligence driving them. And we expect that this is a 10 trillion economy by 2035, with 900 million of these autonomous systems present by that time. One of the autonomous systems that drives a lot of note, you'll see the Waymo there, and Tesla have also recently launched trials of autonomous vehicles with the Tesla models. Is that we're projected to have 76.21 million units by 2035. That's 76.21 million autonomous vehicles driving around. So these could be autonomous robo-taxis, trucks, scooters, drones, and it's a 450 billion market by 2030. So you can see that not only is AI going to power our digital interactions and services, but when you look at autonomous systems and autonomous vehicles, AI will also play a significant role in the physical world as well. And one of the things in the physical world which will be a big part of what we do going forward will be AI robots, right? We're expecting that 1.3 billion AI robots will be operating in businesses and homes by 2035. You may have heard stories of Amazon being able to do 75% of what their warehouse people do with robots. There's also the humanoid robots that are being produced by Tesla, the Optimus, which will be able to do general things around the house, cutting the grass, moving things around, serving, cleaning windows, etc. But this is a big frontier, right? The move to robots, which will essentially be able to do a lot of the work that people do, is a mass industry. And 1.3 billion units is roughly around near 10% of the of the human population. And then if you look at it, there's talk that 300 million jobs could be lost to AI by 2030. However, we expect that just with other technologies, more opportunities will be created and more wealth will be created, as AI will initially be tooling. So one of the questions is, how will AI impact markets and who will be the winners and losers? So what is AI? So if you look at AI, there's sort of three stages to AI. One is artificial narrow intelligence. Machine learning, generative AI fits into that. and this is essentially what we have now. So, it can't think on its own, but where it has data that can be trained, or where you're able to have inference, like machine learning models, large language models, which are powering AI tools and applications. That's where we are now. That's called artificial narrow intelligence. The race is on to have artificial general intelligence. And that's the next level, where there's essentially some consciousness from AI, and it's able to sort of think on its own. And then obviously artificial superintelligence is where machines have consciousness and they can think in more dynamic ways. Generative AI is the one we talk about now, which is capable of generating text, images, videos, data, computer code, and voice in response to prompts. The key applications are what I call an intelligent web browser, so ChatGPT, Grok, and these other types of applications which allow you to browse a lot of content or prompt for a lot of content and intelligent responses back. And you're also seeing where you have data available, things like computer coding, being significantly penetrated by AI. And I sort of cover that in this, where you're looking at the sort of top applications being ChatGPT, with 546 million users, Google Gemini, 249 million, Duobo in China, 82 million, Microsoft Copilot, featuring with a lot of users, and DeepSeek with tens of millions of users. And as I said before, these top applications are intelligent web browsers, so a more sophisticated and intelligent version of Google, where you prompt and get responses back. And more recently, you can actually buy stuff using it as well. But to really get a return on that 400 billion investment and the trillions that will be invested over the years, you really need business data. So you need to move from web browser and public content to specific business data driving and training AI and its responses. So what is the AI economy now? So the AI economy now is, personal data, which is a US $1 trillion market. Data centers, 7 trillion to be invested in AI data centers by 2035. And, the value of the top 3 generative AI companies is 3 trillion. If you look at the sort of hardware and chips, you can see that NVIDIA currently has a market cap of 4.5 trillion. And again, if you look at where that is, that's all on mobile applications. And if you look at where the growth will be, that's going to be in business applications, which will require business data that comes from IoT devices and ERP systems, AI agent applications, which we saw, isn't going to take over that much until 2030, 2035, but when we're going to see a mass growth. And then you've got physical AI, which are the robots, where you'll start to see AI penetrate the economy as these robots do things like trades. And what is the relationship between Web3, IoT, Web3, and AI driving future business models? I think it's simply this, right? At the moment, if you look at this box here, it's all internet data, right, which nobody really trusts, which are driving a lot of the public AI models, right, large language models. To move into business, you need to get business data in, and that will come from the 30 million IoT devices, so sensors, cars, machines, lifts, etc., that can provide AI models with concrete data on what businesses do, so that you can drive intelligent AI applications back. And the AI models using that data, maybe combined with public data, will then deliver new intelligent services into businesses, automating processes further, having agents and physical and digital doing the work. And in terms of blockchain, one of the things you've got to look at is, how do you trust the AI, right? How can you ensure that an agent from me or my business or my company or my organization is acting on my behalf and not a bad actor that's looking to scam the system? And for that, you need an identity, and you need to be able to trust it. And this is where blockchain could potentially play a role. If you look at AI, 56% of early adopters report exceeding business goals who use it, compared to 28% of companies planning. Companies that prioritize AI investment have a 35% higher chance of outpacing competitors in growth. So it seems to be pretty successful. Generative AI is being leveraged by 65% of early adopters, 58% of planners, to quickly respond to market shifts, so helping with implementation of strategies and responding to market changes. And 65% of organizations are either using or actively exploring the use of AI. So I repeat that, 65% of organizations are using or exploring the use of AI. And 45% of AI adopters report reduced operational costs. So even though AI is limited at the moment in business to public data with limited use in business with business data. So in business, it's good at automating tasks where there's public data available, like a programming language or a travel booking system or research and tasks using public data. But where you need specific business data related to a specific business process, which is not public, it's not being used. But even with the public data and the public data AI, it's still providing competitive advantage. So let's talk about AI agents, right? So an agentic AI. So if you look at agentic AI is the rules-based middleware, right? So it allows you to determine which agent you're going to call based on a certain set of circumstances or rules, right? So if I'm driving my car and I'm low on fuel, the agentic system would say, okay, I'm gonna call the agent that can find me the cheapest and closest fueling point. If I'm driving my car and I'm coming up to a toll, or I'm coming up to a toll booth where I need to cross it, it may want to find the cheapest, most efficient way to pay for the tolling, and that would maybe a separate agent, right? So that's what agentic systems do. And if you look at machines, the thing about machines is they don't have someone with a mobile phone. So agents are actually a good way of unlocking an economy for machines to pay for things based on rules and intelligence and dynamic circumstances. And if you look at it, in this case, agents and agentic systems become essentially the middleware for machines to pay for all kinds of services. If we look at some of the things that will be critical to drive this new economy, online it's going to be having digital identity, having cheap, efficient means to pay, and having the ability to be trusted, or for agents to be trusted and AI to be trusted to act and pay on your behalf. And for that, you have things like digital identity and tokens and signing metadata and signing transactions we believe in the telco industry that the phone number could be a very, very good identifier that people or businesses could delegate to an agent to verify that they're connected with you and acting on your behalf. And we already have a number of means to authenticate phone number, the phone number of someone making a transaction, and to have 2 and 3 factor authentication of that. So that's something where we think we can add value. But as we move into the world of physical AI with humanoid robots, some of the things that we need to provide there that will be critical for this to work will be high speed, low latency connectivity, so 5G on steroids. Again, the digital identity using that phone number for physical AI will be important to make sure that you can identify as a good actor and be authenticated. The ability to sign and having the ability to transact, and buy and sell. Will also be important. As you can see here on this, we have all of those capabilities now in the telco industries out of the SIM card. So phone number ID, the ability to have a secure element on the SIM card from a technical point of view, and cryptographic keys, which are basically the hardware to power wallets, and to have cryptography on the SIM card that can basically encrypt data. If you look at some of the use cases that I see coming forward, so I've just given 2 here, 2 basic ones here, right? And one is for business, and one is for people. So if you remember on one of the slides I showed earlier, we had the mobile phone transactions being the majority of transactions, 500 billion by 2030. And this use case is just saying, okay, somebody goes onto an app, they dedicate their phone number from your phone number or from your phone or your wearable to an agent who's going to act on your behalf. So if the agent in this case is linked to a travel booking service, so it's going to basically search for the cheapest airfare or the cheapest rail ticket train ticket overnight. That agent has my phone number. By the agent having my phone number, then the merchants understand that they're connected with me, and under certain circumstances and rules, that agent can purchase on my behalf, provided that link between me and the agent stays the same. So in that case, the agent is able to find the cheapest flight overnight when I'm sleeping and pay for it in advance, right? So that's a means of linking your phone number in your phone to an agent, one or many agents that can buy on your behalf. For a business, it could be a fleet of vehicles, right? And the fleet of vehicles, could have, be associated with the phone number, that's the business phone number. And then the vehicle, in this case, a fleet vehicles, could then be associated with agents. And the agents, while the business is closed overnight, could be finding the cheapest fueling and EV charging networks and paying for that and booking it in advance on your behalf. And it's just showing with these 2 use cases the importance of having that identifier, which allows transactions on behalf of the agent to be verified, but also to link it back to a person or an entity, a business that is going to be liable for that transactions, right? So that the merchant and payer relationship works in the same way. And what are we doing here? We're building a new finance and payments digital infrastructure for a new digital world. Connectivity, data compute, finance ownership structures, and Web3 and AI infrastructures. What will the impact on business processes be? Well, if you look at some of the things that could be automated by agents, it's going to be the tasks at the bottom, right? So, foundation tasks. Research tasks, at the top. Research tasks, admin tasks, online support tasks, advice tasks are all things where you have data available, and all things where, in the short to medium term, AI could, automate and will start to initially provide tooling, and then they'll be able to take over these tasks. More creative tasks, development tasks, innovative tasks, reasoning, thinking tasks will take longer, although software development is already in the short term. If you look at, yeah, I've got 5 minutes remaining. Let me just finish up. If you look at some of the key jobs that will be lost, so things like lawyers, math specialists, etc., will be lost. And yeah, you just go into this, and I believe that the metaverse, which is not so cool a word now, but it's basically about AI on Earth, right? It's about how you provide personas, environments in business and in retail and consumer for AI to interact with us is going to be absolutely big. And the way we'll interact that will be initially through the phone and then through glasses. And, we're basically redefining different ways of communicating. We look at the economics of it, and I'm just going to take one more minute. What is the impact of AI, on and the metaverse on industry? So for things like education, what you can see here is a demand curve going down to sloping down left to right. That is the traditional demand and supply of Ivy League education. So it's limited, right? And the price, will basically, demand will decrease as the price goes up. But what the impact of AI on this and other industries that are digital is that you have infinite supply. So what it means is that you can have more supplied, at a consistently lower price. So for education, where that can be delivered by AI in an immersive environment, just like you're attending, you could have multiple Harvard educations anywhere in the world at a lower price because the marginal cost to supply it is virtually zero. So a bit on blockchain I had there, I can share that, but what we can say is that blockchain is going up and it's the digital store of value and the medium of exchange for digital environments. But what we're seeing with stable coins is that could extend to physical environments as well. And, just the last slide here is that our view is that we can support all of that where we bring the cellular infrastructure to the business and AI infrastructure. So I'll probably just stop there. I had a lot more slides, but I think too much content for the time, and I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, David, for such an insightful keynote. As a reminder, audience members can still enter questions, and we'll go ahead and review a couple that came through. This first question asks, how are technologies like smart contracts or asset tokenization changing how organizations operate or manage value?
So asset tokenization can bring liquidity to assets. I believe it could be really important in how we finance AI, especially in developing countries and communities and businesses that don't have access to masses of finance to do it. So I think tokenization allows an asset to be fractionalized, and it allows different options to get financing for it. In terms of smart contract, it's a means to automate. So it kind of interacts with AI, whereas the smart contract, for financial interactions is the implementation layer. So a smart contract can pay on your behalf. It has rules, it's trusted. So you think of that as the sort of business logic, but also an implementation layer that can work with AI.
Great, thank you. This next question, what are the biggest risks or misconceptions businesses face when adopting these technologies?
I think the biggest risk is that they think it can do too much. So there's a race globally to implement AI in every aspect of our lives, personally, education, in businesses. And the way it's being portrayed is that it's the solution to everything and it's ready to go out of the box. It's not. AI predominantly at the moment is based on public data, and not many people completely trust public data to make and execute tasks on our behalf. Right? It's something that should inform what we should do. It's a tool that can help with what we do, but it should not replace humans at the moment. So I think businesses calculating investment in AI equals no people in the next sort of 3 to 5 years are going to make a profound mistake.
Great. And I think this is a good question just to wrap up with. But how can finance leaders start preparing their organizations to thrive in this emerging AI-driven economy?
Impact assessment. So look at the areas, where AI, and I was hinting at it in the presentation, where AI can have the most impact and value-added impact, and start to implement it, but start to implement it alongside your existing processes, tooling and empowering your staff, and then to start the automation afterwards. There are things where you have research tasks that can probably be done now, but you still need to do the impact assessment first.
Great. Well, thank you so much again, David. That is all the time we have for questions, but thank you again for such an incredible keynote. I also want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. This does officially conclude the Argyle Finance Solutions Expo. So thank you again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our next Argyle Digital Finance event, which will be our FP&A Forum on November 18th. Thank you again so much and have a great rest of your day.